Hey y'all, welcome back. Listen, we're here to talk more about Real Housewives, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, of course, Porsha and Gizelle were a part of Watch What Happens Live, latest episode, so we do have to check that out and discuss a few things. Of course, Porsha does speak about Drew. She does speak about Angela Oakley and her marriage. She also even, shares some thoughts about Miss Mia Thornton. Now, she was sitting alongside her good friend, Miss Giselle Bryant, and Giselle also tells us some things about Miss Karen Huger. So we're definitely going to get into that. And then afterwards, we'll go ahead and check out the Real Housewives of Atlanta after show. All right. I know you guys are waiting for the review. The review will be coming to the people. All right. If I don't upload a premiere, I'll do my best to go live for you guys on Wednesday. All right. And we'll get into a few things because I feel like my thoughts may have shifted a little bit from when I gave you my initial thoughts when I saw some of the clips raw without having any context or anything. So we'll see. Okay. But in the meantime, in between time, let's go ahead and let's get into this Watch What Happens Live episode. So, of course, Andy did ask, about Mia and her relocating down to Atlanta and how she felt about it. He even asked Giselle as well, and Giselle was like, "Girl, she all yours, okay?" Like basically, I could care less, and we figured that. I don't think many of the cast members of Real Housewives of Potomac really give a damn for real about Mia leaving the show. I think that may be something that they wanted. All right. And it's so interesting, when you think about it, because Giselle went from being this person that was supporting and rooting Mia as she was attacking Wendy. And then now here we are a year or so later. And Mia, you may have thought that you were a part of the in crowd. And they showed you that you was just another, okay, you just another, period. Okay. It's not giving Robin. It's not giving that type of loyalty that you thought that you would have gotten. Okay. So we could care less because we didn't really like you for real anyway. We only like you when you're going up against one of our common enemies or of some sort, right? Um, so yeah, and I think that would be the same treatment that a lot of people felt like Candace was going to get because people felt like when Candace was on the show, they only really was on Candace's side because they didn't really like Monique. All right, and I feel like it showed itself again when it came to Mia. But I do feel like Mia didn't make herself as likable this past season. So her going to Atlanta, congratulations and good luck. All right, good luck to her. Now, I did see a video where she has been hanging out with some of the housewives ladies. I believe that she was with Shamia, she was with Kelly, and they were partying, having a good time because, of course, Kelly did have a function at her Nana's Chicken and Waffles. And girl, if it wasn't down there in McDonald, I probably would have slid. But aside from there, she did have something. I believe Mia may have gone to celebrate. And then I think the ladies had something else over the weekend where a lot of the cast of Real Housewives of Atlanta did show up. Right. And I think that from Mia hanging out with Shamia and hanging with Kelly, people begin to think like, oh, I probably could see Mia over there on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I still don't know. Now, I will say because this is well, I was gonna say because these ladies are younger, but honestly I feel like the ladies of Real Housewives of Potomac were younger. um, I don't know. Maybe Mia could hang with the ladies, maybe she would gel well with the ladies potentially. But at the same time, I am okay with not seeing Mia Thornton on television for a few years. That's pretty much, Now, if they were to just force her on us and put her a part of the next season or the season following, I would still tune in and watch it, of course, like duh. And we'll see what it's gonna give. If they were to drop Miss Edie and picked up Mia Thornton, I think those ladies, I would just that would be interesting to see what that dynamic would necessarily be like. I don't know, y'all. I feel like Mia would be given the same energy that she gave over on Potomac, yeah. I wonder if she would try to assault those ladies. Possibly, possibly. Anywho, y'all let me know. I'm still not at a place where I am that interested to see Mia in the next season. Maybe Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta potential. You know what? I got a better show. I have a better show for Mia. And y'all probably are gonna cuss me out for this. Just a little piece that you do what you do in the comments, okay? Um, Bold and Bougie. Put her over there on Bold and Bougie with Malaysia and the other ladies. That may work for. I know I understand that a lot of people didn't watch the show. That's not my concern. Okay, but if she wants to come back and be on television, then put her over there. Okay, Thank you. But anywho, when it came to Porsha, Porsha, I feel like honestly, Porsha gonna advocate for anybody on the show. She just gonna say, I love her. Yeah, sure, you can be on. Hey, and I don't know if she says that because she genuinely feels that way, or if she's just playing nice. And at the end of the day, understanding like I'm just gonna be nice. Like, yeah, I like her. I like her energy. I like her vibe. But at the end of the day, you are the one that still got to get yourself through the producers. And maybe Mia could, because I believe that the producers that worked on Potomac also worked on Atlanta, from my understanding, unless that's changed. But Mia may potentially already have a in with Real Housewives of Atlanta. But if Mia were to come on to Atlanta, I don't know if I want to be entertained by this storyline with her and Gordon and Ink. I feel like it would give been there, done that, seen that. Like, girl, come to us after you've resolved things, and maybe come to us post divorce or something. Like, yeah, nah. Okay. Believe your thoughts. But like I said, Porsha says that she likes Mia Thornton and she welcomes her to ATL at the end of the day, and Andy accepts that. All right. Porsha does go on to speak on Miss Oakley, and that's where I want us to get into some audio, because she talks about Angela Oakley. She talks about Cynthia and how Cynthia has supported her. She also talks about Drew and Angela and how she feels like they're not as close as we may think that they are. And then she also goes on to speak on Drew and Dennis and them coming together to really get under her skin and to help out Drew's album. Girl, if you don't, let's just get into the audio, please.
Tonight, y'all ended the episode with a real good time, except for Miss Oakley, who feels that you said that you should F her husband.
Oh.
Did you say that?
Miss Inspector Gadget?
Yes.
Girl.
First of all, my public apologies. But I don't know anything that happened.
Okay, it was the Henny. It was the Henny.
It was a late night
You don't know
kiki.
anything.
I don't know anything.
I knew
It was
she
a late
said
night
Henny.
kiki, and she wasn't supposed to hear that. It was.
She wasn't supposed to
Everybody
hear
was
that.
spilling tea, as you can hear, as you see. Everybody was spilling tea.
By the way, I loved your conversation with Cynthia tonight.
Yeah.
I thought it was really sweet. It felt like you needed her, and you came together in a very nice way.
I needed her, and I needed her because she and I love the same. We're both hopeless romantics, and she knows, like, I know on the show I talk a lot about Dennis, but I mean, we couldn't talk about Simon a lot.
Right.
So, but she knows what I was going through in the middle of the divorce at that time, and so, like, it just felt good to be able. You remember that time we were in Barcelona and Nene came in the room, and we had a heart-to-heart?
Yeah.
It felt like that for me with her, and I just really appreciated her just being like a real friend at that moment.
Yeah.
It was nice.
What do you make of how hard Angela rides for Drew?
I don't think they're that close like that. There's certain signs that were in this episode to show that Angela's a little iffy about Drew for some reason.
Okay. Well, Angela once introduced her outfit as Polly and Esther, and over at the bar, it's someone who's Jolly and Esther. Her comedy special, Esther Steinberg Schmear Campaign, is available now on Prime Video.
All right, guys. So let me pause that there so that we can chat about it. So first of all, I don't really have much to say about the Cynthia situation. If Cynthia was able to offer support to Porsha in that moment, okay, cool. To me on the outside looking in, I'm like, girl, shoulder shrug. Like, you really that devastated over Simon? Like, somebody you wasn't supposed to be with to begin with, I suppose. You already kind of knew how he was moving. Like, I mean, I guess, and at the end of the day, it's a divorce. I'm not in her skin. If Cynthia wanted to support her in that moment, cool. But Cynthia, this episode, you kind of got under my skin a bit, because I just felt like you overdid it. You were overdoing it, okay? We're going to get into that when we get into the review, okay? It was more so when you guys were sitting at the table and Porsha was acting all awkward, all right? And you're having Angela ask her about stuff, and you kind of irritated me there. But we'll get into that once we talk about the review. But as far as Porsha and the Angela thing, it sounds like she pretty much admits that she did say those things when it came down to Angela's husband and her smashing on that lady's husband. Okay, she says everybody was spilling a tea or whatever the case was. So when I hear those words like everybody was spilling tea, then to me that sounds like that was giving a piece of a threat too, just a little bit. Okay, but Angela wasn't there to really hear it. But what I will say is that when you say spilling tea, it sounds like something that you really would do. I could have seen if you were saying like, everybody was down there just making jokes and just saying stuff. But you were like, everybody was spilling tea. So it's like, okay, Angela, yeah, yeah. Don't take that as no joke because I don't know, Portia girl. It's not that like, okay, now granted, you definitely had swooped in when it came down to the Fallon and the man situation when they were going through a divorce. You also know when people go through a divorce, there may be a time period where they can mediate, figure out their situation, and see if they want to be together. But according to how your story falls, how you say your story goes, you immediately swooped in on him before he could even get the chance to reconcile with his wife. Okay, so if that was something that he wanted to do, so ma'am, that's what is. You meant what you said when you said it. That's just what it is. Like you meant what you said. Everybody was spilling tea, spilling it. I mean, y'all wasn't joking. Yeah. Anywho, when she talks about Angela and Drew not being as close, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not as close because a lot of times we do see where these housewives do bring, people bring people onto the show. But I do think, and I will say that Angela is iffy about all y'all. If she's iffy about Drew or whatever, I do think that she's iffy about all of y'all, and it may appear as though she's having Drew's back more because one, Drew did introduce her to the group, but also more than anything, I feel like she see one wrong, it's wrong. And when it don't make sense, it doesn't make sense. And you trying to slick ice her out, you know. So yeah, no, I'm gonna bring her around. Like, yeah, no. I like those things about Angela at this time. Until she does it to somebody that until she do it at the wrong time or something. But I'm liking the drama that she's kind of cooking up just a little bit to get reactions and stuff. And girl, are you getting them? But anywho, so I'm here for Angela, and I'm so surprised, y'all, because I was not expecting Angela to like give like that. And I think that so far, and we still got a lot of episodes to go, of course, but I think she's delivering for sure. But next up, this is where I want us to get into Porsha talking about Drew and Dennis of it all. So let us check this out.
So when are you surprised that Drew tried to downplay her closeness with Dennis in the first place and say that they didn't talk on the phone and stuff?
In retrospect, I think that they kind of came up with that whole thing. I don't know if they actually did anything. I think it was a let's surprise Porsha. Dennis knows that he can get a reaction out of me, so I think that helped the storyline for her music. Maybe.
What do you think of Drew having Dennis saved in her phone as Dennis Bro?
Honestly, Dennis is that type of person. Like, he's cool as hell. Like, we're friends now, so I can understand. He's my bro. Bro. Hey, bro.
If you had to give a definite yes or no answer, do you think that Drew and Dennis have hooked up?
I mean, if they have, like I said, as long as she can do baby hair for Pilar, I'm all for it. Like, get married. No, like, I like Drew. Drew's a good mother.
So you want her to be stepmom to Pilar?
She can't. He has his own personal life, honestly. Right. And
wow,
I have no.
That's very.
Yeah, he has his own personal life. But I genuinely think that they made it up to like get my attention.
What was your reaction to Drew telling Shamia in the studio that her songs are going to pay for Pilar's college?
I thought that was cringy. I did. I thought it was cringy. It was told to me way harsher than I saw it.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yes, that comes up later.
Shamia, yeah, Shamia did. But at the end of the day, Shamia felt a way, and she related to me how she felt it, how she received it.
Right.
But when I saw it, I didn't get upset necessarily, but I thought it was cringe. Like, just don't mention people's daughters. If you're already doing what you're doing, do it and make money for even your kids who may need college money. Maybe.
That part.
I don't know.
My kids?
No.
Yeah, yours.
Oh, okay.
Who's gonna pay for
Not
yours?
yet, yours.
She threw her singing. All right, thank you very much.
She was more so talking about Drew, and I don't fully disagree with that. I mean, but the conversation right now was about, Porsha, Dennis, all of that, right? So that's why she was saying Porsha shouldn't be tripping because my music or whatever is going to help out with her baby's college or whatever. I don't think Drew meant any harm by it, but I mean, maybe she could have said our kids, meaning, my kids, Portia's kids, whatever the case is. But I don't think she said anything negative or did anything wrong when she said something like that. But that's just my opinion on that. I didn't think it was cringy, honestly, in my opinion. I think that when Porsha says it's cringy, I feel like She just was already in her feelings about it. All right. So probably anything Drew did made her cringe. But what was more cringy to me was when Shamia tried to make it a bigger thing than what it was, trying to make it seem like, oh, you just do too much. You're doing too much, Drew. And I'm like, she's not doing nothing. Y'all are trying to make this something more than what it is. And y'all know y'all don't even see this man around her for real or none of that. They're working together. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Y'all are making this something bigger than what it got to be. And at the end of the day, you contributed, or at least you were around when your friend did what she did, and then also went on to marry that man. So for you to sit up here and feel away, like, I really need you to pipe. I need you to calm down. Like, Shamia, I want to continue to like you, so let's not. Okay, please. As far as they help her album, you know, when Porsha says this, for me, it's just like, girl, ain't nobody trying. Now, Dennis may have done it to get under your skin, but I don't think Drew did at all. And honestly, this show is gonna was whatever is gonna help her album. Period. She don't need to have a back and forth with Porsha to get people to listen to her album, because I think Porsha may have a larger fan base than Drew at this time due to Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I would think, why would she want to alienate the fans like that for them to not listen to her music because she's beefing with you? To me, it just doesn't make sense. I don't think anybody's trying to get under your skin, and if it was, it's gonna be that baby daddy who you should hold in a different standard, especially if you guys have an agreement on what you are not and are going to do on television. And honestly, you know, and people forgive, right? The first thought that's coming to my head is, you know, if you trying to fight my mama and run up on my mama or throw some or do whatever, and you think that I'm supposed to have some loyalty to you after the fact just because we have a child, you crazy. In addition to that, we're not even together. So are you okay? Now, I don't have to do anything that's going to harm you or put you in harm's way. But at the same time, like, are you crazy? I don't owe you that much loyalty to not film with you. But if you guys have an agreement and that's something y'all agreed on and he forgave you for that incident, obviously he has, then that's an issue for her and him. And I do feel like Drew tried to let Porsha know, but Porsha was also avoiding her. And I feel like also with that, she was holding Drew in a position that she should have been holding Dennis, because it seems to me that the person you actually talked to and had been in communication with was Dennis, and he's the one that assured you of certain things, not so much as Drew. So even when Drew tried to let you know and wanted to do it more so face to face, you never had time for her. So if she did send you a message via text, then that's what it was. And people are like, oh, and not you guys, when we're so the folks on the show, like, oh, Drew, you know that's not something you sent through a text. You pick up the phone and you call her. And what's she supposed to do if the lady not answering? Okay. Or even rushing her out the phone. Like, what y'all want her to do? Anywho. So when it came down to Drew and Dennis smashing, you heard what Andy asked her if she can give a definite yes or no answer. And she didn't necessarily give a yes or no answer. And I feel like that's kind of messed up. Because well maybe she did towards the end, but it wasn't, either way, it wasn't definite. It wasn't definite. If it still leaves room for confusion, it wasn't definite. She should have gave a hard yes or no, right? Because I feel like you're allowing people to continue to think the narrative of her sucking this man's dick is actual reality, and whether it is or isn't, you don't have those facts to know that for sure. And I just don't think that that was cool of her, in my opinion. She says to Andy, oh, you know, all I say is as long as she knows how to do hair or whatever the case is. I mean, I think they did it to get under my skin, or like a definite yes or no, girl. Just give me a hard yes, hard no. Which one is it? Yes, no. She didn't do that. I think that was a bit messed up, but that's, you know, that's just me. In the meantime, let's go ahead and check out what Gizelle had to say regarding Miss Karen being in the slammer, honey.
Her and Wendy have not spoken and probably will not for a very long time. I have been in contact with someone who's very close to her about her safety and all that. And from what I understand, they love her up in where she is right now.
That's right.
Is that right?
Absolutely
They are
love her.
loving Karen.
They are loving the Grand Dame.
I love that for her.
And you know she is running that thing.
The artist formerly known as the Grand Dame.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. They love her.
Wow.
So I feel very good about the fact that she's safe.
And and have you spoken to Ray at all?
Yes. And Ray is, he's still adjusting.
Yes.
Yes.
Aw.
Yes. And have you spoken to TJ at all since the reunion?
And we'll pause there. And what she goes on to say about TJ is pretty much saying that she hasn't talked to him, but she knows people that knows him, and there are receipts. And the reason he hasn't come forward with those receipts is because he's waiting for Stacy. And that's her name, Stacy Tracy. I can't even remember the lady's name, but anywho, he's waiting for her to give the rest of the money. Okay. So that's what's being said. So not necessarily sure. I can see that Gizelle is going to go into the new season beefing with Miss Girl. Okay, so we'll see how that's gonna play out. But as far as Karen running it in the slammer, I don't know what to believe, honestly. You know, there were reports that were coming out about her being fearful for her life and wanting to get out much earlier and stuff, wanting to get work released and got denied for that. So to think that Karen is actually running it, I doubt it. I think that she may be respected because she is a reality star, but at the same time, you didn't even talk to Karen. So when you gave us your soundbite and you let us know what you know, you didn't even really talk to Karen for sure. And I would have to say the same thing when it comes to TJ receipts. Well, you didn't talk to TJ directly. It sounds like you talked to other people that's cool with TJ. So we don't even know if he actually does have receipts or if you're just drumming that up. So I have some drama, with old girl. And yeah. I mean, of course, if you're calling Ray or whoever you're calling, I'm sure they're gonna be like, yeah, she's doing great. She's good. She's this, that. They're gonna hype it up, possibly. Okay, especially for people that like to maintain a certain image, because that's something that I feel Karen always did. They're not gonna let you know you've seen her at her worst, but we also gonna let you know that she doing great, she good, she running that thing. And honestly, I also wouldn't be surprised if they gave her the truth and Gizelle just coming over here spicing it up to make it appear to Karen that she actually has her back. I didn't speak ill on you while you were locked down, and I'm not saying that she should either. But if you didn't know, just I don't know, but I know that she's safe. Not sure how she's actually doing, but running it in the slammer is crazy. But I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. All right. But in the meantime, in between time, let us hop over here and get into a bit of the Real Housewives of Atlanta after show. I want us to check out some things here.
I'm gonna just be 100. I would not be inviting anybody to anybody's birthday, even if they were like good friends with that person. It's not my place. You got invited. It didn't say bring a +1.
I'm missing my Chicago partner on this Zoom.
She asked me on the Zoom because she was trying to be so upfront, like, are you inviting Drew?
Right.
And I said, well, to be honest, I want people who really care about me, people who I'm close with, people who I'm cool with.
And no messy energy.
I actually felt like we were having a good time, and I felt like Porsha was in a good space. And she was receptive. I didn't immediately get cut off at the notion of bringing Drew. It was like, okay. It was and giggles. Can I have a +1?
For some reason, Angela, your call is the only one silent.
It was unnecessary of Angela to even want to add her little 2 cents to invite her.
Yeah. Why are you positioning yourself in between me?
I agree.
And Drew?
Okay, so now I have to say, I think that as much as I may have felt like Drew should not have come to the on the trip, and it was more so because of how I felt she was going to be mistreated. So it's like, save yourself the misery and don't even go. But at the same time, it's slick given Drew had every right to be there like everybody else. Just like you weren't necessarily invited or uninvited to Kenya's grand opening. Britannica, Bernasia Bible School, you decided to show up with what? I suppose an olive branch that was not fully received. Okay. So if you could show up, then Drew could show up. And Drew decided that she wanted to go ahead and get that girl some whiskey and give it to her. Now, granted, Porsha could have been on some she didn't want it. Granted, she got a right to say that she don't want the gift, but I feel like with Drew and Porsha versus Britt and Kenya, the small difference for me is how many times Drew has actually reached out to Porsha to try to mend fences, and she still didn't do it. So again, Drew could have been there if she wanted to. She decided to show up in good faith. So for you to say, oh, she shouldn't have did that, she shouldn't have did it, boop, 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 then, Britannica, I kind of feel like, then if that's the case, Kelly should have never brought you down to Kenya's spa. Because you weren't invited, but you weren't uninvited. She just, sent it to the group, whatever, whatever. I feel like that's the same thing Porsha did. Porsha invited the ladies, but like Angela said, she never gave her a definite no. So it was what it was.
And then you putting me in an awkward position that I took to, because when she said, okay, well, I invited Drew.
Yeah.
At first I'm like, okay, why'd you do that? You're doing too much. And then I finally said, you know what? It's fine. If Drew comes, I want her just to be comfortable. I'm not gonna make her feel away. It is what it is.
I felt so unwelcomed. Like, the whole time I was just like, why am I here? Yeah. I didn't think that what Porsha and I even had going on was like that deep. But the energy I kept getting from her every time I saw her, I was like, whoa, you're that like upset and we can't talk about it?
I felt like the issue was minimal. I didn't feel like it was a big issue. And I felt like you guys could have spoke about it and just moved on. Like, this is your friend's birthday.
Yes.
We're going to Nashville. It's about to be a time. And I was like, you know what? I could fix this. Here I go thinking I can fix I think that's the handyman skills from these properties. I'm like, you know what? Just a nail and some glue. I can fix this.
I'm gonna hammer this thing back together.
Angela kept making it a point that, well, you have beef with her. Aren't you gonna be mean to her? Aren't you gonna pile your friends upon her? Yeah, stirring it.
I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for us to lay our issues on the table.
No, this is not a perfect opportunity. It's her birthday. I did not tell any of these girls about Drew and I situation. Mind you, Ami, also Manetta.
Yep.
All these girls are also cool with Drew. The first time they heard that Dennis and her or me or I felt that they were filming or whatever was that very moment.
What I won't do is allow a group of women to just talk about one woman who's not here to defend herself.
They asked, where was she? Because they've known us to be cool.
Okay.
Wait, what? I have no idea what's going on. What happened?
So as you can see, I wasn't trying to be
But see,
messy.
I was like, you gotta watch Angela because
Right.
she come off like she's very sweet and innocent, but she over there creating something. So when Drew actually does arrive, now it's some friction that really didn't even exist. You wasn't even tripping off of it.
So are you her friend or are you just trying to create moments?
Exactly.
Do you feel like
Okay, that's the part. Like they troubling me just a little bit because number one, I feel like to put that on Angela, I don't think that's necessarily Angela's fault. I feel like one, your friends asked about her, and I could have sworn Porsha threw in there like she the one that invited her when she wasn't supposed to come. Whatever it was, she said something about Angela and whatever it was, and Porsha started to explain herself. Barely could explain that, so her sister Lauren hops into the conversation, fill in the blanks, and then the other friend throws in the fact that Drew was sucking dick. Like, are y'all okay? All right, so to put all of that off on Angela, like, no, I think you need to look at yourself first, then look at your sister, then look at the other girl sitting next to your sister. Because y'all contributed to that. In my personal, all right? Drew's absence, when everybody knows she's a part of Housewives, and like you said, they're friends, of course, Manyatta's gonna be like, where's Drew at? Right? And you're trying to put that on Angela, like, that doesn't make sense. And then to see, Britt sit there and try, oh, she acts sweet and this and that, but then she likes to create something. And I'm like, girl, ma'am, you are actually describing yourself. You're actually describing yourself when you say, oh, she acts sweet and innocent. I feel like that's the vibe that you give off. And then she likes to create stuff. You literally created an issue with Kenya from day one. So the way that you went about talking about Angela in this after show is so comical because you literally are talking about yourself. And it's so funny how we as people often see things on others but can't see it on ourselves. Like, girl, that's what you do, boo.
like I set you up when I invited you to Nashville? You feel like I was trying to sabotage?
I can't say I feel like you set me up because I know you and you were definitely trying to do the right thing because you wanted us to just all have fun as a group. You were like, please come, I'm new to this group. You brought me in this crazy group. Like, you need to be here, you know what I mean? So I wanted to be there for you, which is why I ultimately did come.
Angela knew that Porsha and Drew were not on the same page at that time. I thought it was out of order.
Like, this is such an intimate setting.
This is not
Then it's
dinner
like,
up the street.
No, it's not dinner up the street. Literally, you're bringing the girl in the house to sleep with us.
Speak for yourself. She ain't sleeping with me.
Well, she slept in that damn bunk bed.
Whose decision was that?
There was a bit of a hazing. It was a bit of a hazing.
I was gracious enough to give her not one but 2 beds.
I was like, okay, I'm definitely not wanted here. That was the beginning. That was like the start.
Listen, don't bring nobody to my birthday trip.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was appropriate. But once she did it, it was done. And I don't think that they came with the right energy. They definitely should have just left all the drama back home.
First of all, Shamia, it's a few things I have to say. Number one, Drew, baby, I'm going to be real honest with you. You came on the trip last. With you coming on the trip last, don't expect to get the best room. High key. Two, I understand if you thought things would be a bit better for you and Porsha to have that conversation, because when you first got there, Porsha did give you a hug. And then you're like, okay, maybe I'll give her this. But then by the end of the night, she's switching and she's flipping up on you like, okay, so we still going backwards. All right, girl, let me go. Right? Completely understand. Shamia, for you to say that Drew didn't bring the right energy, I'm a little confused. And this is what's crazy to me. You and Porsha, like, I don't understand. I think Shamia is still trying to show a form of loyalty, a bit, in my opinion, to Porsha, even after the fact that y'all done fell the hell out and y'all are not friends. And I'm not saying you should diss her or anything, but girl, be a realist of the situation, because I don't think Drew came with bad energy at all. Literally walked in the house, hugged the lady, didn't say a whole lot of nothing to the dang lady. They went out, had a great time without Porsha, of course, because the group split up. And then after that, brought her a gift and wanting to resolve issues. So I'm a little confused on what the energy is that she brought. The energy was sitting next to you on the left. So what is that? Like, Shamia, don't tick me, girl. Like, girl, you is ugh.
And just let bygones be bygones. Have a good time. Hell, we in Nashville and we dressed up like cowgirls. Why would you not want to have a good time?
Baby, because
You
they
were
wanted to
giving
act like some
gothic.
donkeys.
Yeah.
Okay, cowgirl. How about we dressed up like cowgirls? Yo, at some point you was giving gothic. Because what was
Let's
that?
talk about Angela inviting Drew on your birthday trip.
So I was like, I just want to have the people I'm gonna be most comfortable with. And even if I don't know you that well, we have a good vibe. I feel like we had a good vibe. And so I invited Angela, but not
Drew, which is fair. You wanted Drew to come, even though Porsha was like, she's not invited.
She's never told me that. If you do have an issue with me, woman or woman, I get it. Talk to me about it. And it just became an attack.
She's actually having her crash my birthday trip.
That is so rude.
It was like, okay, at
Y'all
some
heard
point,
that?
Porsha.
So they flashed back to when Porsha said she's actually having her crash my birthday trip. So Porsha, that was you, baby. When they asked where Drew was, Mayetta did, and you responded, she's crashing. That right there lets them know that she wasn't welcome. Okay, so you did that. You trying to put that on Angela? I can't agree or support that. Sorry.
Use your, the
Good English
3
grammar.
brain cells you got.
Not 3
and
brain
put together some sense so you can figure out my intentions weren't bad. And that's what pissed
No, I don't
me
think
off.
your intentions were ever bad.
Yeah. I think she was just trying to have like this I got you thing.
I really want to know, why am I the only one who's held accountable?
I don't think that's true.
I do. Kelly, you asked the question initially.
Why did she take that woman's husband?
The world wants to know. I don't think the world got that answer.
She wanted to get everybody off her back because everybody at that point was like, Angela, you've been doing too much the whole trip.
Yeah.
And so I think she just used it to distract
I agree.
the situation.
I'm like, damn, did I do all this? With my good intentions, did I do all this? Did I put two friends further apart? I don't like this. This is not who I am. I don't want to hurt that girl. I don't want to hurt her or her feelings. So I felt apologetic. At the table was just me reacting to being attacked for what I felt was good intentions.
Right. Porsha, would you like to answer Angela's question, or should we just move
Angela
on?
kiss my ass.
The rest of the world can kiss your ass.
I know that's right.
You first.
I'm glad you didn't give up that much energy with that situation. You were just like, girl, kiss my ass, and moved
Yeah,
on.
and that's heavy because you can
Yeah.
either do it or you can be quiet.
Yeah.
So would you rather kiss her?
How about I do neither? How about I keep talking? And then what are you going to do? You going to get up and leave this table like Drew? I'm confused. You think you finna come over here and hit me with something like you did Kenya? Well, and if she continued to talk, nothing would have happened. You can either kiss my ass or you can shut up. So do you just want people to kiss your ass, similar to what Cynthia did when she ended up saying, "Let's not talk about that. Let's just move on." Did you tell her to move on when it came to the drama of her and Drew?
it or would you rather be quiet? So you got two options. It's not
Because I'm gonna tell y'all this: we're 8 episodes in, and at this point, I'm over whatever Drew and Porsha, or more so, Porsha got going on with Drew. Like, let's move the storyline along. Okay, you still feeling away 8 episodes later? I feel like this may be at least a month of filming at this point. We still feeling away? Like, can we just move forward?
discussion.
That's just a mess. And Miss Kelly Kale, you sitting up there pretty much agreeing with everything Porsha says is crazy. It's giving definitely a yes friend.
The Portia's birthday dinner.
Porsha didn't even get dressed for her dinner.
Oh, Porsha was definitely hotter than fish grease.
I could tell something was off.
What's wrong, Porsha? What's wrong? Something is wrong. You're not just that innocent.
Just good.
Tired.
I don't feel like that energy was there that morning, but at dinner it just felt like literally something had happened.
What you girls did not know, I got a phone call from a friend. I was told that Drew and Dennis had in fact filmed together. At that point, you would say, Porsha, it's cool. Like, you've known that this could happen. It is what it is. I was told by both that it was not. What I found out at that moment.
Porsha, this is where I say you're a liar. I do not believe that Drew ever told you that she was not filming with Dennis. You ain't even been talking to this woman for her to tell you that she hasn't been filming with him. And all honesty, she really hasn't, for real. Like, one film went down when they were in the studio, but she's not like actively, like he's like filming with him like that. So I'm still not understanding the big deal. Like, I just would need to see some more evidence or maybe a flashback of something like that when Drew told her we weren't filming, or a text or something like that. But I don't believe that she told you that. And even if they were filming together, I just feel like, how does that affect your storyline and what you have going on? When I feel like this could have been a conversation to figure out, okay, you guys are filming, so how exactly are you filming? What are you filming? Oh, okay, so you're just gonna focus on the music. Okay, cool. Well, then focus on the music. So then me and your storyline, this is what we'll do. We'll do it like X, Y, and Z. So I'm just not understanding why this is so much of a big deal, and it ain't even a good storyline at that. Like, what?
Moment. I was in shock that he had betrayed what our agreement was. And it just kind of shut me down. It just felt like a pile on.
Absolutely.
It just felt like a pile on. I feel like every time I bring something within the group, it escalates.
And you was very calm. So I'm just like, okay.
I want to ask the question, or are you good with me being here because I know I wasn't invited?
You're straight.
Oh.
When she left at that dinner, I just thought it was just her being dramatic.
I'm gonna go now. This is just immature.
Girl, why are you leaving?
Because I don't have to deal with
She
this,
the one that's
actually.
dramatic.
She
Crazy.
throws a lot of curveballs. She's always there to stir the pot and create fires. But then when it's time to confront her situation, she always runs. She's a runner.
I mean, geez. I've said way more to you to make you walk out than that. You are an awful slimy ass bitch. You know that.
Now, after dinner, I did.
If Britt don't be talking about herself, it's crazy. And Porsha, when you say I said way more worse things or whatever like that, you have to understand as well. Like, you want everybody to understand that you're going through a divorce and nobody cares, because you're not the only person going through a divorce on the cast. Drew, who has to live in the same house as her damn baby daddy / husband while you're living in your husband's house, okay? Enjoying everything, and I don't even know how SHI getting paid, considering the fact, even though he's supposed to pay everything, considering the fact that he locked down with ICE. And Kelly also got her own divorce that she's going through as well, but we only supposed to be worried about what you're going through, but we're not even really being able to see nothing for real. But anywho, I just feel like it's just giving full of SHI for me. Okay, that's just where we at with it. You talking about this lady that got up because she's being dramatic or whatever? Like, ma'am, we're 8 episodes in. Every time she see you now, it's a problem. After a while, you're going to get tired. Okay, and instead of lashing out and hitting or throwing something like other people have done, such as yourself, she just gets up and excuses herself. But now she's the dramatic one, because she excused herself, only for you to turn around and excuse yourself shortly thereafter. So who's really the dramatic one? Okay, I guess.
Jeez,
Yeah.
I've said way more to you to make you walk out than that.
Pretty much told me why she was upset was because of you filming with Dennis. That's why she was upset.
What is the issue with that?
If your husband and you know, are on separate terms or whatever, right? God forbid.
You better never film with my man.
It's just an open door.
Ma'am,
Why are you?
Ma'am, your man doesn't even want to film with you for real. Like, ma'am, being real honest, he looks like, please get the cameras off me. I'm doing this because this is what she want to do, but I really don't even prefer to be on here. He don't even want to film with you, let alone film with somebody else. Like, never film with my man. Like, just calm down, okay? Everything don't have to be so heightened. Just chill.
Angry with me filming my music? Like, why are you so angry that I'm trying to advance a part of my career that has been so important to me? Why can't I make my money?
You see how people use this group
Absolutely.
to blast whatever, to use it to catapult whatever they want to catapult, right? Why would I want to offer that to him?
Yeah, ever.
Why would I want to offer that
First
to
of
him?
all, y'all sound dense, and everything else. A lot of people are having the conversations. I feel not a lot of people, but more so when Cynthia was talking to Drew, it kind of seemed like the conversation wasn't just about the filming; it was about them working together. But Porsha already knew they worked together, and you already knew that music was going to be a part of her storyline, so you knew that he was going to be a part of the show. And for you to sit there in this somewhat of an after show confessional with this woman and say, you know, everybody knows how, you know, people come to the platform to blast whatever, right? Yeah, that's what the platform is for. First of all, you pretty much just confirm what you tried to go over there and watch what happens live and say, which actually debunked it, in my opinion. I think they did this to have an issue with me and then to help her album. Like, well, the show was going to do that anyway, so they didn't need you. Okay, so that's the first thing. And for you to say, why would I want to catapult him? Why would I want to do that for him? Ma'am, you've already done it. When you first introduced us to Dennis, that's when we learned that he was the hot dog man and he owned crew. You've already done it. So I'm a little confused on why you would want to give him that. But you would want him to help you further your career. But you don't want to help with his. I'm just so confused. That's gonna happen anyway. In addition, you catapulted it when you put all your family over there on Porsha Family Matters. So that, like, why would I want to do that for him? I'm so confused. You don't want him to film with Drew, but then you don't want to give him that space, I guess, to help or whatever you're saying in this moment, but you want him to film with you. Something doesn't sound right, and what it gives to me is control. Ultimately, as I've told you guys before, Porsha does not have control over the situation with her divorce. Probably didn't have much control in her own marriage, right? Don't have much control over this divorce, so which way it's gonna go. So she feels like she'll be able to control Dennis, and you've never been able to control him. So that's kind of what it is to me. But okay, girl.
No, ma'am.
So in
No,
that
ma'am.
case, that's what filming means to me. It's not.
And that's what's killing me softly. It's the Miss Edie. Instead of just listening a bit, she has to just keep, yes, man, yeah, no, girl, and girl, it's really kiss ass is what it's giving to me. That's what it looks like.
Oh, he can't film. He can't get a check. He can't support. He
This
can't.
is your
No,
space.
don't open the door.
Yeah,
Don't open
yeah.
the door.
There's no issue between her and Dennis. She knows that we're all friends. I just feel like no
And can I
one's doing.
also say this? I just feel like the line is always moving. That's what it seems like. Shout out to Candace Dillard. Like, that's what it seems like. 1 minute, oh, I don't care if they're smashing. I don't care if they're doing this and that. It's just with you filming with him. Then the waters get muddy about them working together. Then, oh, I don't care if they smash, long as she know how to do polar edges. But then you turn around and got one of your friends talking about her sucking DICK. And then you got you in a confessional trying to validate it by things that Dennis has told you. And then now you're trying to sit up here and say that, oh, it's the platform. Why would I want to give him that? Da-da-da. You've already given it to him on more than one occasion. I'm confused. Then you're giving it to him on your YouTube channel as well. So what are we talking about? It's not making sense. It's not making sense. It's not. And I understand she's trying to push through because she can't say what the reality is, I guess, and just be like, girl, I ain't got no damn storyline, girl, okay? Simon and blew me the hell up. Can't talk about SHI. You know what I'm saying? She probably could say this stuff potentially on her YouTube channel, right? But not so much as on the show. But it's like, girl, he done blew me the hell up. So I'm gonna have to find somebody to beef with. And I clearly didn't want to beef with Lil Kelly. All right. So I went ahead and hurried up and made amends with her. When she said what she said, about the whole questioning of the husband stuff. I didn't tell her she could kiss my ass, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and be cool with her. But I gotta drum up some issue with somebody else, and it seemed like she'll be ready to go toe to toe with me. But I don't know about Drew. So Drew seemed like she, you know, she might be a little scared of me a little. So I mean, I'm gonna fuck with her for a little bit. I guess.
Doing anything to hurt Porsha. Like, this isn't something damaging. It's all love and it's all positive.
You already knew it was hard for me to come back to the show, being that I'm coming back, going through a divorce, trying to hold it together. I was already going through so much.
Yeah.
And you don't think that she's going through so much? You already knew it was hard for me to come back. It's giving me, Porsha. You already knew I was coming back to this show with a divorce. That, ma'am? So is she. I think y'all about was getting divorces or they were filed around the same time, I thought. If not, definitely the same year, right? And you don't have any children with Simon, okay? And I have no doubt that your daughter may be attached to this man that's more like a grandfather to her, only for 3 or less years, however long. But this is the actual father of Drew's children. This man has been around for many a years when her oldest son was like extremely young. Okay, so you don't think that she's going through stuff? At least you get to live in this man's house for free without paying no bills or doing anything in Rome, however you want, and not have to bump into him at the house and stuff. All you're dealing with is the SHI that he may put out on social media. Whereas with Drew, she got to live in the house with him downstairs. Okay, leave her home dang near 3 or every weekend out of the month. Like, I just feel like that's unfair, as though people are only supposed to be concerned and worried about what it is that you're going through when there are other people on this cast that's also going through stuff. I'm just like, what? And you thought that they came together to do that to get under your skin? Why would she do that knowing you're going through a divorce and she going through one too? And they both went and got permission of not just you, but Ralph. So I'm so confused. I don't think that there was anything, in my opinion, I don't think Drew was trying to harm Porsha in any way. I really, really don't. I think, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I will say this. When Drew got ready to do that photo shoot, when Porsha was upset, like, you can't go and do a whole photo shoot for my brand. I feel like Drew did that in a way as like another olive branch, like, oh, I'm gonna bring Porsha some whiskey. I feel like, as I'm looking back at it now, that Drew may have done that in an effort to get on Porsha's good graces. Like, hey, I did this with my own money. You can use these photos on your website to promote this, that, and the other. Like, if you're mad at me type of, like, let me make it up to you type of situation, because I didn't mean any harm, and let me show you just how much, I didn't mean any harm or whatever. Like, I'm just going to shoot this go naked or whatever, like, potentially. But I do believe at one point she may have said that it was Dennis's idea for the photo shoot. So maybe it was his idea, right? But it doesn't mean that Porsha, not Porsha, but Drew didn't think to do this out of, the goodness of her heart type of thing. Like, you didn't have to come out no money, to do a photo shoot or anything, and you can use these photos, whatever the case is, right? Because it's still your business. I understand Porsha wanting to be upset, but I also would like to know the intent behind it, because I'm starting to think that could have been part of Drew's intent behind doing the photo shoot. All right.
I was
This was
just
one
like,
extra
don't
thing
add
that she was
on.
adding to your plate.
At that time, it wasn't on Drew. I was focused on.
This is what I want y'all to hear.
Something damaging. It's all love
Not this
and
part.
it's all positive.
You already knew it was hard for me to come back to the show, being that I'm coming back, going through a divorce, trying to hold it together. I was already going through so much that, I was
This was
just
one
like,
extra
don't
thing
add
that she was
on.
adding to your plate.
At that time, it wasn't on Drew. I was
Okay, did y'all hear Miss Britannica say, this is just one extra thing that she was adding onto your plate? And I'm like, if this isn't yes person talking only for Porsha to turn around and tell you, because you're not listening to understand, or just listening, I would say fully to understand, to give a proper response. You're just listening to go ahead and just be like, yes, only for her to say it wasn't even on Drew. But you was just saying, I mean, this is just something extra that she was adding to your plate, like trying to continue to stick the knife in and be the yes person that you are. And Porsha even tell you, like, it really wasn't even about her. Like, yeah. Anywho, girl, let's keep going.
Trying to hold it together. I was already going through so much that, you know, I was
This
just
was one
like,
extra
don't
thing that
add
she was
on.
adding to your plate.
At that time, it wasn't on Drew. I was focused on what he was doing.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, you know, my mental health.
Yeah.
To be able to do this
So
has
you
to
think-
be a certain level.
Yeah.
Why are you messing with it?
Honest question.
Honest answer.
Drew, would you feel some kind of way if any of the ladies in the circle filmed with Ralph for whatever reason and not tell you?
This is the thing. In this group, we're friends. Him and Phaedra have hung out. I mean, in this friend circle, if we're just being friends, I don't see a difference of filming and being friends.
I get like running into different people. Like I may see Ralph out or whatever, and of course I'm always gonna say hello. I specifically feel like filming, I would never film with your husband. If Ralph came to me and said, hey, Cynthia, I'm thinking about being a supermodel tomorrow, which is a good looking guy, he could actually ask me that question. I honestly would feel very uncomfortable dealing with Ralph outside of you. For me, it's a respect thing. Now, would I maybe call you and say, hey, Drew, Ralph approached me about A, B, and C. Are you comfortable with that? And this is something that will be filmed.
Well, I kind of feel like if we already talked about the fact Dennis and I were working together and that was okay and you're in support of it, I don't understand the issue if we are now working together and you know this is my life. My thing is why would a person react this way? A person would react this way if you want to spin the block. And that's what it's giving. And if you want to spin the block, then just say that, Porsha.
I hate to be that one.
So let me pause right here, and I have to agree. I think there may be a bit of spin the blockage because I don't know. It may be, it may not be. Whatever it is, I think that she feels like she owns him in some capacity, and I don't feel like you do. Like that's just your baby daddy. That ain't your husband. That he ain't got no connection to you aside from your daughter. And that's it. Like the most loyalty he owes to you is to show up and be there for that baby girl. Right? When, you know, they have the Cynthia's asking Drew, like, oh, you know, if it were you and Ralph came to me, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Why would you not feel comfortable working with Ralph outside of Drew? Why would you not feel comfortable doing that? When typically when you're working in modeling, it's not just going to be you working directly with him. And then we got to understand also the dynamic of the relationship with Ralph. I don't think Drew would really care for real if y'all are working together. For real. And if y'all did, I'm sure she would expect that to come from Ralph based on whatever agreement they have before it came from you. And y'all clearly see when Ralph just left the house and went down to Tampa, he going to do what he want to do anyway because it's just how he is. And Drew ain't going to have much say so in that anyway. Okay? But at the same time, like if we talking modeling and stuff and you guys are working together and you decide to use him in some scenes and film with him, okay. Because in all honesty, it would contribute to her storyline just a little bit. So, I mean, I don't understand the hype. I mean, maybe she could have gave her a courtesy call, but I think people are forgetting that Drew reached out to Porsha and Porsha was not trying to reach back out to her. She kept canceling on her. Okay, so that's that.
Want to cry, you know, oh, I'm so stressed already going through divorce. But it's true.
You was going through
I
it.
literally was. And so
Drew
you're
wasn't?
extra emotional. You're
Are y'all okay?
hypersensitive of everything.
I was like,
And
why she
Drew's
acting like
not?
a bitch?
A
I'm
girl,
like, what's
a
wrong with
bitch,
her?
a baby, all of that.
It's her birthday. We over there trying to hype you up. I'm like, I barely like her, but let's go. No, I'm just kidding.
I had a ball, first of all.
Okay.
That was everything.
Doing it on your own.
Can we talk about
It's the whiskey. It was so good.
today? I hadn't talked to her. Well,
Okay. So let me see.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm sorry, and to paraphrase it, you were right. Just to have it validated from
This is where
his
Shamia talks
friend.
about the ex-husband that she had. I didn't know Shamia was married before, or if I did know, I don't recall anymore. But I didn't know she was married, and she talks about the abuse of that guy. Very unfortunate situation. I do question who that friend was that reached out to Shamia. I do wonder who was that person. Is that somebody that's familiar with Housewives that'll be on the show
It
or
really
something?
meant a lot to me because I felt like I had this that.
Right. All right, y'all. That's about all that I want to get into at this time. I feel like this video definitely was much longer than it may have needed to be. But I'll let you guys go ahead and continue the conversation down below. Just wanted to hop into this just a little bit. All right. Of course, I'm Jami. That's me. You can find me over on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, all of that, Facebook. And yeah, just like up the video, subscribe to the channel, be sure to comment, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir, stand with my feet to the fire, give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a practice. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated